Hey, what's up? This is Joe. I'm in Safford, Arizona, on my way to Phoenix right now, where I'll be flying out to Daytona Beach to work Biketoberfest. I wanted to make this video to show you some of the crazy things that happened in a little town in New Mexico called Los Alamos. I really knew nothing about the place until I got there, and it was nothing but constant surprises. So my buddy Cristophe came down, who you may have seen in some of the videos, my buddy John. So we just had a hoot riding around the mountains of northern New Mexico and figuring out all the crazy stuff that was going on in this kooky little town way up in the mountains. Another thing I've always been wanting to experiment with is a longer format, and it's just something, unfortunately, I really haven't had time to do until now. Actually, we've been getting nothing but flash floods ever since New Mexico all the way out here to Arizona. That's a whole other story you'll see in the next video. So this time I actually had enough time that I could experiment with the longer format, and I wanted to sort of leave this this Los Alamos thing in one piece and give you the whole project one piece rather than break it up into parts. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. As usual, I've included a donate link in the drop box below if you guys would like to contribute to this project. Your support is very much appreciated. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the road. I'd been traveling through northern New Mexico, totally entranced by the magic of the high desert, the mountains, and the thriving Native American cultures. I was headed to a town called Los Alamos, way up in the mountains outside of Santa Fe. Aside from being situated next to some really gnarly looking roads on the map, I knew absolutely nothing about the place. On the ride up into the mountains, the scenery went from incredible to breathtaking. Just on the other side of town, the road went down into the Santa Fe National Forest, then wound up into the mountains and cleared out into a large expanse of BLM land situated in the pine trees. As I was later to find out, directly underneath these pine trees was a massive expanse of underground tunnels where defense research was being carried out by some of the top scientists in the country. After setting up a halfway respectable camp in the Santa Fe National Forest, I returned the next day to explore the town. The curvy mountain roads soon becoming a welcome and familiar part of daily life. Back in town, I began to notice little clues like this which pointed to the legacy of the place. Oppenheimer Drive? Little signs like that began to manifest themselves more and more frequently. When I went to a parade and began to notice t-shirts bearing the name of the town and depictions of atoms everywhere. It was around this time my good buddy Cristophe called up, and when I told him where I was, he said he was coming. He'd lived not far from here in the past, and let me know that this was the birthplace of the atomic bomb. It all started to make sense. Oppenheimer Street, atoms all over the place, now I understood. He told me the place was indeed still the center of an incredible amount of nuclear research taking place both above and below ground. After coming back to the woods, I hiked to the top of the hill to get a better view of my new surroundings. Beautiful. Cristophe had messaged me that morning from Phoenix to say he was coming. Being a distance of over 500 miles, I'd expected him in a couple of days. 8 hours later, he rolled into camp. After he got set up, we headed into town for a bite to eat. Note that Cristophe is French, and as such, a bite to eat is not something to be taken lightly. He invited me to an upscale Japanese restaurant, and we headed down the road for sushi. There are two ways back into town. One which we've already seen earlier, and this one, a journey right through the infamous lab. Each time we did this, we'd have to show the guards our ID and make a promise not to film anything for the next 4 miles. A promise which I've been willing to honor in the making of this video in the interest of national security. I'll say this about the lab. It was probably the least interesting aspect of Los Alamos and resembled any other industrial district of any other town. Nevertheless, we got to know the guards, who we later found out work for the same company that provides security for a very famous military installation, which may or may not be involved in some business concerning UFOs. Origami!
Origami!
Tomere gato!
Au chocolat.
Tomoere gato! Mr. Roboto!
Chocolate, origato.
Konnichiwa!
Konnichiwa.
The amigo Cristophe, and he's got his Buddha beer. I got my green tea. Buddha beer in the shape of a Buddha.
Happy Buddha,
Happy Buddha.
like me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Something or other. Delicioso
You know,
sushi.
that's what I say very often. Have the body of a god. Too bad is Buddha.
Cristophe was really excited to show me around his old stomping grounds of Santa Fe. So we took off the next morning through Bandelier and headed down the mountains.
Los Alamos, and you have stuff everywhere, antennas and shit like that. All that is underground. It's more than 200 miles of tunnels around here. So deep, you see, that's one of the, that's what, you have the antenna, satellite, right?
Yeah.
Everywhere we passed over there, you see this big stuff, this water, I don't know what it is, because underground. That took this route, that's Bandelier. It's going down this way. That's beautiful. Okay. So this route is beautiful too.
We just stay on this for a while?
Yeah, we're gonna go to the parking lot.
Okay.
You wanna go fast? Go.
The Road of Tears?
Yeah. That's my road of tears. When I was living here, when my daughter was born in 1992, October 7, the time of the deer dance, that was the most beautiful time of my life here in New Mexico.
Yeah.
So I feel native here.
Wow. That's the Camel Rock. So named because it looks just like a camel.
We are on Tesuque.
Tesuque.
Tesuque Indian Reservation. They are Navajo Tiwa.
Okay.
We call that the nation of Navajo, the Diné. I guess so. Let's see.
I love this Pueblo style adobe.
Yeah.
My name is Nicole.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you? This, in a lot lot of ways, this reminds me of Mexico.
It is.
A little town square like this with a pavilion right there.
Exactly. It's the same.
And vendors selling on the street.
That's why they call Nuevo Mexico.
Sopapillo.
Sopapilla.
Sopapilla. Frijoles, arroz, and red and green chiles. Christmas.
You're gonna see the
Okay,
inside.
sure.
You have to wait to go in. You didn't take my map. That was the end of the trail.
I'm just gonna kind of walk around and get some video.
Do whatever you want to do. But you have to call my agent if you want me on the video.
Chili Nelson.
Where did you say there was one? The hotel.
Here? Yeah.
Or the Starbucks.
We can go right through.
Oh, you take it. Whoa! Whoa! Fuck!
God damn.
Fucking nuts.
Next, our buddy John showed up from Flagstaff. He was tearing around the country on his Dyna and was having an absolute blast.
Very cool.
After he got settled in, he showed us some really awesome camping and cooking innovations that he'd come up with.
This is a bowline right here. And then I stretch it out and I do a clove hitch with 2 wraps. It's sort of a prusik. And when you tighten that up, it doesn't slide.
Okay, so John just came out. What's up, John?
Hey, man.
He came from, where were you? Flagstaff?
I was in Flagstaff. I was in a couple other places I don't remember the names of.
Okay, so he's got all this fancy stuff out here. He's got an MSR tank that runs off of gasoline. Is it in here?
It's in there.
This you may have seen. I've seen them in the stores before, but basically it runs off a regular. Does it regular or premium?
You can do regular. You're wasting your money if you do premium. You don't need anti-knock or anti-ping. The stove doesn't ping very much.
It doesn't ping? Okay, so it runs off a regular gas, and then right here is where one of his hoses fits onto that, and then he's got a burner that he uses to cook out here.
I can show you the burner.
Show me the burner.
I lost it.
We want to see the burner.
It doesn't go there, so I didn't put it there. This little
So
guy right here
This
will
is
burn.
the Chef Gourmet.
This will burn carrot. Well, I'm more inspired by Survivor Man. You know?
Does he use an MSR stuff?
No, but he cooks disgusting shit, but he survives. And that's what I do. Anyway,
Does it give it a special bouquet?
You can find some roadkill and, you know, make an special.
Hey, that's perfect.
Well, that goes like that. And there you go. Runs on gasoline, kerosene.
Wow.
You can buy white gas and it doesn't give you all this carbon.
Right.
Well, I think all the gasoline additives don't give you all that
Yeah,
carbon.
yeah.
It's cleaner, but any gas station, you should, how often am I going to buy white gas and how often am I going to buy gasoline, you know?
Exactly.
I'm at a gas station, you know, a couple times a day.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so that's
Perfect.
interesting. But the one item that was interesting enough to make me pull out my camera was this right here,
that
which is
it's
okay,
a
what is this?
1.5 liter pressure cooker. You can find them in any size. You can cook vegetables. The reason I got it was I was trying to cook vegetables in a frying pan and it was taking forever. You know, potatoes and stuff
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
you
can throw
use a lot of gas like
You
that.
use a lot of gas too.
Yeah.
You throw a potato in here or a package of mixed vegetables, boom, you're eating healthy.
On a
This holds about a
motorcycle.
liter of water, right?
Okay, right.
Pump it up,
That's a life straw.
Have a shower.
and you got a shower,
What?
or you can wash your dishes, you know, and it's very conservative. I can wash all my dishes, and it works upside down because it's got a little flexible hose.
It works. If you're gonna shower with it, you gotta make sure to sanitize it though.
You know, you just have to beat it.
Isn't it like it's not a bidet?
It's got a spray. It actually has a hose. You can buy there's a hose attachment, which I sent
you
home.
Interesting.
So it's well prepared for the apocalypse.
So I can cook, you know what I mean? I don't have to pay restaurant prices.
Well, look, I guess who's cooking for us the next couple
He's
days.
gonna do that. He's good at that.
Even, you know, get
Yeah.
a pound of ground beef and make some chili.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to be out here in the woods with a bunch of chili eating motherfuckers.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Ask him.
The music. Then there's a horn concerto afterwards.
Right. Roughing it. This is camembert from France. Delicious. So we really rough it out here in the woods. You know. This is so terrible.
Cheese and crackers, baby.
Cheese and crackers. That's all we have.
But camembert from
Hatch chili cheddar, camembert.
No. Real camembert from
Oh,
France.
fuck. John and Cristophe. My setup. Seriously climb up there to get the bungee cord that high.
From the bottom of the canyon, that was a very narrow road going along the cliff, and you were arriving over there, and that was closed. That was no man's land. You couldn't do that.
Settling into a routine with my friends, the conversation turned to the miles of underground tunnels directly below where we were sitting.
But yes,
Oh, fuck.
they say it's something like 200 miles.
It's like-
tunnel under everywhere.
It's like the Bat Cave.
It is always, because you don't have only this lab, you have also Kirkland Air Force Base, also, which is a big research center. And I would say that New Mexico and mainly this side of the New Mexico, which is Los Alamos and Tepe, as the people with the highest IQ.
Oh, yeah, you got scientists though.
Yeah.
The health department would shut me
Half-French
down
cook.
for cooking on the ground like this.
Right.
You cook everything, huh?
Yeah, why not?
Or why not?
Now we're cooking with gas.
Gasoline.
Literally.
Years ago, he was the guy selling the New Mexican in Santa Fe at the crossroad. He was an old guy. He had a bicycle, and he was selling the New Mexican. And I befriend him every morning. I was buying my newspaper over there. To him, we were talking and so forth and so forth. And he was always saying that he was a rocket scientist, but that was a joke. We thought he was a
Right,
joke.
right.
But the guy died one day, and he was a huge front headline on the New Mexican saying that he was indeed, he was part of the paperclip operation after World War II, when the American took the German scientists like a von Braun, Oppenheimer, all these people coming here to create what is today the American defense. So this guy really was a rocket scientist. But then one day he just flipped and he didn't want to do it anymore. And he went to on the corner of the street selling newspapers. And he was really a rocket scientist. I think I still have the headline of the New Mexican in 1994 or something like that, where he was gone. That's a beautiful story.
Wow. So there's two museums up there. There's the Bradbury Museum.
Bradbury Museum.
That's the one. After breakfast, we hopped on the bikes to check out the free Bradbury Science Museum. The star of the show, the atomic bomb. Days rolled on. I took advantage of the next morning to replace my stock paper air filter with a reusable K&N. I did it at a car wash just in case I'd need to use the vacuum to remove any literal rat's nests from the air intake. The process of replacement was intricate to say the least. A couple days later, Cristophe offered to show us the Valle caldera. Turns out not only were we sitting on a massive underground nuclear laboratory, but there was also a gigantic dormant volcano just underneath of us, the caldera of which was just 10 miles up the road. I got my hazards on. Look at that. We're right on top of the caldera of the Valles Caldera volcano. And we saw the other day, me and LouLou were riding around, the top of the volcano, the first time it erupted, spewed and went however many miles, like
70 miles.
So it's like a cork out of a wine bottle, 70 miles that way. So we're standing right now inside of the crater of a giant volcano, a caldera is what they call it. And not active, but deep under the surface right now where we're standing, it is active. You know, there's hot lava and shit like that.
Cristophe.
Is all packed up? Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
I know you like the vinegar.
Salt and vinegar.
Salt and vinegar.
I got a bad habit, man.
Yeah, well, that's, hey, this one is not bad to have.
So there's the French drifter.
Yeah.
About to hit the road, heading towards Phoenix, all packed up.
My girlfriend calling.
Perfect timing. This is his Mustang seat that he had reupholstered. Got a very different look. Keep in touch, okay?
Oh, definitely. Salut à toi, my friend. Ciao, Jean-Jacques. Give a big hug to your mom for me.
I will.
That is well packed up.
Yeah. Always the same.
Looks very minimal.
It's a
Compared
little
to
bit too
mine.
much, but it is what it is.
Well, they're all too much.
Yeah, we're all too much.
Yeah.
That's what.
It's less than you'd fit in a fucking U-Haul truck or a fucking cargo van or...
These guys with the U-Haul van have a rooster inside of a fence.
That was the first thing they pulled
Over
out
there.
when they got here. It was the fucking,
The rooster.
the rooster cage. Like, what the fuck are they doing?
All right, my brother. Bon chance. John and I hung out the next few days exploring the town and going about our daily routines. His summer on the road was just coming to an end, and he had a long ride back to Brooklyn, New York before the weather got too cold. It's always fun watching somebody else pack their shit up.
I could strap it down pretty hard now with the buckets.
The bucket system.
Yeah.
He's got the bucket
I'm
system.
trying a new thing. I'm trying to put the sneakers in here, but I don't know if it's gonna work. Oh, look at that. They fit. I must have lost some clothing along the way because I have more room in here.
John and I headed into town for one last ride before he started the long journey back home. the library was just having a book sale, so stocked up on some reading material, already making preparations for Mexico. So I have some stuff to read while I'm down there. So it's an interesting town because this is actually the birthplace of the atomic bomb. It's kind of isolated way up in the mountains, as you can see, kind of ringed all around by these crazy mountains. This is absolutely one of the most beautiful places in the country, in my opinion. As I say, I've been here almost 2 weeks. I'm starting to get itchy feet, and it's starting to get cold at night, calling for rain. So packing up, heading south. Los Alamos is an example of a place you come across in touring that at first glance seems innocuous. It was only after spending some time here that the layers began to reveal themselves. Some places are like that. It was an absolute blast hanging out with Cristophe and John, and I'm sure I'll see them again soon. Until then, here's wishing you a grand adventure and that you stick around long enough to enjoy it. Take care, and we'll see you next time.